Reigniting You, the show that explores a variety of topics and timely issues for making successful mid to late career transitions with a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment for the next phase of your career and life, regardless of your age. Now, here's your host, Lisa Downs.
Welcome to Reigniting You, where we talk all things career transition for those age 40 plus. I'm Lisa Downs, Seattle-based career and retirement transition coach. So glad to be here with you today, and our producer Eric. So Eric, how are things today?
Good.
Week?
Yeah, not too bad. Sorry, we had a little bit of technical issue there at the very beginning where you were talking and I neglected to have your mic on. I had one job. I just messed it up. So I got to apologize to the listeners there for that. Was my fault. But
it happens.
It happens. Yes. But I'm excited because it's another great week here in the Northwest, and we've got another great show on tap.
Good things on tap for today. It's the fourth week of the month, so that means it's time once again for our Best Job, Worst Job, First Job episode. I'll be sharing listener stories, a few career tips, and some career news headlines on today's show, and we'll get started with all of that right after this first break. Hi, I'm Lisa Downs, career and retirement transition coach and host of Reigniting You on KKNW. I guide age 40-plus professionals to gain clarity, a renewed sense of purpose, and a career transition plan within 90 days so you can lead a fulfilling life regardless of your age. No longer does change have to mean riding off into the proverbial sunset. Let's talk about what your next phase of life can look like. Visit yournewaspect.com or call me at 425-216-3015. That's 425-216-3015. New Aspect Coaching. Fresh perspectives for your career.
What's your story? Have you ever sat with that question and looked to your heart for the answer? It's time to explore the real you. Tune in Thursdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. for the brand new show, Story You, with Coach Debbie. Debbie and her guests have a mission to inspire and coach you to find your voice. If you need direction, Story You with Coach Debbie is for you. If you want to be an author, Story You with Coach Debbie is for you. Tune in Thursdays at 4 p.m. and be inspired.
Some people know a good thing when they hear it. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Reigniting You, the show that focuses on all aspects of career transition for those age 40 plus. I'm your host, Lisa Downs. So just a reminder that if you'd like to get in touch with me, feel free to go to my website, yournewaspect.com. There you'll find a form to contact me and reach out. You can also sign up for my free weekly career tips news, as well as take my free career transition readiness quiz there at yournewaspect.com. So it's time for a few recent career-related news stories that you may have missed given all the other things going on, everything else happening in the world these days. There continues to be a steady decline in the number of Americans seeking unemployment aid, which fell to 444,000, a new pandemic low week before last, according to the U.S. Labor Department. Jobless claims have now dropped in 5 of the past 6 weeks, a sign that the economy keeps strengthening as consumers spend freely again, viral infections drop, and business restrictions ease. This comes as simultaneously 24 states have now moved to restrict federal unemployment benefits to pressure people to find work. Those moves will end all benefits for approximately 3.6 million of the nearly 16 million people receiving aid, about 1 in 4 of current recipients, according to the Century Foundation. As employees are anxiously facing a return to offices as well as other crowded public places in which the coronavirus is thought to thrive, scientists are calling for a paradigm shift in how citizens and government officials think about indoor air quality. A group of 39 of them published a call to action in the journal Science last week, sharing that air quality and ventilation systems in buildings can be improved with a few simple fixes, including adding filters to existing systems, using portable air cleaners and ultraviolet lights, or even just opening the windows where possible. So nothing too onerous, though some of these types of fixes will take time and be a bit of an investment, although that's something that many employees will be looking for, especially if they're considering leaving their current employer. Healthcare and the technology industry are expected to provide the most stable jobs these days, according to U.S. News and World Report. A few specific roles that appear stable for employment are speech-language pathologists, mental health counselors, marriage and family therapists, software developers, mechanical engineers, veterinarians, and physicians. For those looking to change industries or roles, while some different education or job training may be needed, working in these two industries look like a good bet for the rest of this year and beyond. The state of Montana is getting creative. They're advertising for a business attractions manager, a job that will pay $125,000 a year to travel the country promoting the state as a good place to start or expand a business, in part by touting new tax incentives that were passed by the 2021 legislature. The Department of Commerce also has $500,000 to support the effort, the Montana State News Bureau reports. Passing legislation to help recruit businesses to the state is part of their governor's Montana Comeback Plan. The job posting for the business attractions manager says the state is looking for someone to establish and maintain relationships with prospective companies, site selection consultants, developers, and entrepreneurs interested in Montana. Lastly, at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center in Nevada, a 107,000-acre office park that's home to more than 150 companies with a combined annual payroll of $750 million, gazing at wild Mustangs while at work is being marketed on social media as an employee perk to draw talent to the industrial complex. Employers there, including Tesla, which broke ground on its battery factory there in 2014, are using the horses as a recruiting tool in an effort to attract employees who appreciate a green environment as part of the company's health and wellness initiatives. So, Eric, there we go. Some interesting stories today. What are your thoughts on these?
Yeah, I think Ford would be a perfect match for a place with a view of wild Mustangs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Since they've got the new electric Mustang, even that they're trying to promote, as well as the regular version. So yeah, Ford, if you're listening, get on it.
That's right, get on it.
But I like that idea that people are trying to think of new ideas to attract attention, to attract business to their state and to their area. Yeah. I think that's cool. We could probably market wild bald eagles because we see a lot of them over here. So not that we're hurting for business here, thankfully, in the Pacific Northwest. But I think, it's cool that people will market, the things that you wouldn't necessarily think of. I also think it's cool that they're continuing to come up with new ways to keep people healthy and people safe with the talking about upgrading the filters and stuff. A lot of that stuff is long overdue.
Long overdue in a lot of buildings everywhere.
So I think this is going to help keep people healthy as we go forward, even once we get past the pandemic. So good news.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to see that, hopefully that will become more of a priority because, there's definitely some buildings, whether it's around here or just elsewhere that you go into and it's like, boy, this place needs a lot of work, just the infrastructure of it or rickety elevators or, that you don't quite trust, kind of think twice about getting into. But I just kind of imagine what the ventilation systems and internal systems of the buildings are like.
When you think about what we were breathing before these upgrades, and maybe not pretty.
Who knows? Maybe not. It's something I try not to think about.
Yes.
I'll probably give me nightmares. But but I think that's fun. I think it's fun for Montana to have someone to go spread the word and attract people to their state, businesses to the state. I know it's kind of tough when so many people leave the more rural states that don't have really huge population centers,
Right.
more of the urban areas, because people want to leave to go get jobs. And really, can be really hard when people are fleeing those more rural locations or, so I think that's great to get inventive. With
Absolutely.
coming up with something, to really help with that.
But, once they get successful in attracting more business and more folks, then they may regret it when they get a taste of our traffic.
Right.
It's always a
And
double-sided
here's the
sword.
traffic. Yeah, I was kind of seeing that too with, a lot of people here. We've talked about it before, but people moving to the outskirts
Mhm.
during the pandemic as well, and then these small towns getting bombarded.
Yeah.
And then they don't have the infrastructure necessarily to support all that population growth, and that causes its own issues. So,
Exactly.
yeah, on the one hand, probably good for their local economy, but on the other hand, then here go the housing costs, and then just to support all of those people
Right.
makes it difficult. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what continues to happen with that down the road as well.
Yeah, and in Washington, when your property values go up, your
Your
taxes
taxes.
go up
Go
because
up.
we don't have an income tax.
Right.
So, people are happy for growth and happy for the increased value for their investment in their home, but it's a double-edged sword.
It is. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see down the road. But, I wouldn't mind looking out a window and looking at some horses.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty nice.
That'd be kind of
A
fun.
soothing, a relaxing. Well, thanks, Eric, for that. And it's already time for our next break. So when we come back, I'll share some listener job stories with a few tips and preview what's coming up on next week's show.
Are you feeling challenged or frustrated without a plan for what's next in your career and life? Are you seeing writings on the wall for needing to make a mid to late career change and don't know how or what to do? Coach Lisa Downs of New Aspect Coaching can guide you to what's next, providing a fresh perspective and supporting you to create a clear and compelling vision for your future and a plan to move forward. Call Lisa at 425-216-3015. That's 425-216-3015. New Aspect Coaching, fresh perspectives for your career.
This is Rob Bass, and I want you to tune in to Don't Ask Me to Talk with Stacey Heller, the show that brings joy from pain, sunshine where it rains. Don't Ask Me to Talk with Stacey Heller. And that's coming from me, Mr. It Takes Two, Rob Bass. Tune in.
Do what Rob Bass says. Take a listen to Don't Ask Me to Talk with Stacey Heller. That's me, Tuesdays from 3 to 4 on KKNW. To find out more information, check out my website, staceyconnects.com, or text DAMTT to 55678.
Hello, I'm Nathan Mum. Join me and Mike Roday as we host a weekly technology show that talks about technology for the everyday common person. We are a live radio program that airs Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. If you go to facebook.com/TechTimeRadio, youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, or twitch.tv/TechTimeRadio, you can catch us live Saturdays from 4 to 5 p.m. You can find us at all podcast services online, from Apple to Google and everything in between.
Have a career transition related question or want to share your best or worst job story? Call 360-436-6496. That's 360-436-6496. Just leave a voicemail and we'll answer your question or share your story on a future show. Stay tuned for more Reigniting You with Lisa Downs.
Alternative Talk 1150, online at 1150kknw.com.
Welcome back to Reigniting You, the show that discusses timely issues and topics about career transitions for Gen Xers and Boomers. I'm your host, Lisa Downs. Just a reminder that in case you missed it here on KKNW, that you can catch Voices of Experience with host Paul Casey this Sunday at 9 o'clock a.m. on KIXI. Voices shines a light on people with experience in their fields of travel, public affairs, adventure, health, and fitness, with an emphasis on sustaining your own business. That's Voices of Experience this Sunday at 9 a.m. on AM 880 KIXI. So we're continuing our episode that's focused on listeners' best, worst, or first job and career stories, a regular feature of the show the fourth week of each month. And I'm here with our producer, Eric. So, Eric, if you could have a fun employee perk, anything under the sun, what would it be?
Fun employee perk. Boy, I'd love it if like a limousine picked me up
Oh, that'd be
in the
nice.
morning and took me to work, so I didn't have to drive.
That'd be
I
pretty
could just
sweet.
kind of kick back and relax and listen to my podcasts or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that would be great. A lot of companies don't go that far, but I've noticed a lot of the bigger companies have coaches that take people around to various neighborhoods and stuff. I think that probably makes a big difference
Yeah.
on stress. Yeah.
That would. That'd be cool. I think mine would be I would want some sort of pet cafe.
Oh, that's
So,
a great
I'd
idea.
want to take a break during
Yeah.
the workday and go hang out and let some cats climb on me.
Yeah.
Or hang with puppies or some sort of pet cafe.
Well,
I think would be cool.
yeah, some companies incorporate a daycare center, which I think is great, for folks with kids. But for folks like me with just pets, I would love a dog care or cat care center or just being able to bring my dog or cats in every so often would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Just take
Yeah.
a break. Because, as we know, there's a lot of studies about the effect of petting animals and how
Yes.
it slows your heart rate and is so relaxing, good for your blood pressure, also good for stress. But I think that'd be a blast.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, I'm going to go take a break and pet me some cats.
Yes. You run into some issues with some folks that would have allergies, of course, but
they could
if
be
we're
separated.
if we're just dreaming here.
Yeah, we could separate the cats. So that way, people who aren't allergic could go enjoy,
Yes.
and then others could enjoy the puppy dogs. But I think that'd be awesome.
I like it.
That's mine. Cool. Well, it's time for some listener stories now. Just a reminder that you can submit your best, worst, or first job story by emailing it to reignitingyou@gmail.com or leaving a recording of it over voicemail for me by calling 360-436-6496. That's 360-436-6496. I'll then share it live on the air at the end of June. So our first story is from Diane in Yakima, who shares that her worst job was being a cashier on the night shift at a convenience store because she never knew if there was going to be some incident that would happen with a customer. She says that it wasn't all bad and she enjoyed her coworkers and most people were fine. One time, though, this is hilarious, a lady came in and bought scratch tickets, so lottery scratch tickets, and then tried to return the tickets when she scratched them and saw she didn't win anything. I don't think it works like that. It's like, oh, these are losers. I want a refund.
Yeah, that takes some
Yeah, that's
cojones.
interesting. It does. It's like,
Some
alrighty
nerve.
then. That
Yes.
does. It's like, I don't think that's gonna fly. Nice try though. A for effort.
Yeah,
yeah.
you miss all the shots
It's
you don't
creative.
take, right?
That's right, you do. Way to go for it. Diane also shares shoplifting could be a problem, but thankfully the owner improved the security equipment after a few times when they had to call the police. And she says that thankfully no one ever threatened me with a weapon, so that's a good thing.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
absolutely.
that's great. Well, thanks, Diane, for sharing that. Sounds like an interesting time, but yeah, that's amazing. The lady was trying to return the losing lottery ticket.
Yeah, she doesn't quite understand how it works, I guess.
Yeah. And like the convenience store is responsible for that.
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah, don't think so. But a good one. That's great. Next is a first job story from Albert in Federal Way, who says it was when he got a summer job working for the Parks and Recreation Department in his hometown in Nebraska. He says that mainly he did a lot of landscaping work in the parks, so mowing, weeding, leaf cleanup, trimming bushes and trees. He says for the most part it was good, especially on the sunny days, but sometimes rain squalls would hit, and then we had to drop everything and run, especially when a thunderstorm went through. One time, he says, golf ball-sized hail came down and damaged some equipment. And he says, glad it wasn't our skulls.
Yeah, maybe a helmet was in order.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you kind of needed a helmet for that work, but that's pretty good. Yeah, I would think, if you like being in the outdoors and overall, of course,
Yeah.
I'm from the Midwest and yeah, humidity, it could get pretty steamy in the summer. But, if you're used to that kind of weather and like it, I could see where that would be a
I
lot
think
of
that'd be a
fun,
great
hard
job
work.
for for a young person.
Yeah, absolutely. So great summer job and
Stay fit.
stay fit,
Yeah.
helping out, keeping you out of trouble, keeping you occupied. So yeah, watch out for that hail.
Yes.
Can be a little dangerous. And our best job story today comes from Corinne in Seattle, who shares that it was when she worked as a teacher's aide at an elementary school. It was a lot of fun working with the second graders and helping them during the day, whether it was taking out or putting away materials, answering questions if they needed help with an assignment or project, or help get them from place to place. She says the best part was that it didn't involve having to grade anything or dealing with a lot of disciplinary issues, so that's good. But yeah, that's the teachers get to get to do that stuff. But thanks, Corinne, for that. That sounds like a fun time. But I love these stories, and I think Eric, each one of them, even the ones that people say this was my worst job, there's still good things in there. I think there's still good stuff
Absolutely.
in
Yeah.
there. Yeah, to kind of take away and appreciate, because everything's a learning experience, I think, and I'm always a firm believer. It's learn what you can, take what you can, have stories to laugh about later, fond memories.
Yeah, you
but
could
yeah.
probably dine out on that lottery ticket story for years.
Oh,
to
you
come.
could. Yeah, that one's hilarious.
You'd
Like,
be a hit at
yeah.
parties with that one.
You
for sure.
would.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, to me, it's even the ones that weren't necessarily great. You can take a lot from those too, and at least you learn some skills.
True.
Whether it's dealing with people or handling money or business skills, whatever it is. So always things to take away.
Yeah, those customer service jobs can really be valuable over time. I mean, there's so many things professionally that involve customer service. So learning it, even with cuckoo people, there's a lot to take away from there, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember too. I don't know. So, yeah, I think, I know our early shows, we would talk about, so, part of my early career was working at radio stations and doing air shifts. And so, of course, when you're new, you work overnights. So
Yep.
you work the overnight
I did that too.
shift, you
Yep.
work the weekends, you work the holidays,
Yep.
fill in for people. And so when I worked overnight, sometimes it was for the country music station
Mhm.
in the market where I was, the people would call, and it was always so funny and interesting, when they'd call in, and so I'd put song would start, and then here comes the phone ringing, and so I pick it up, and this one guy, I still remember this one guy, he asked me what I was doing, and it was like, well, you're listening to it. This is
Right.
what I'm doing.
I just told you. I'm
I
going to
just
play
told you.
this record for you.
That's kind of what I'm doing. Yeah. How about you? So he turned out he was a truck driver, so a long haul truck driver. So
Just
on the
wanted somebody to
road,
talk
wanted
to.
somebody to talk to. So it was a lot of fun. So when truckers would call and chit chat with them and talking about what their route was and kind of what they were, where they were going and had to do, and it was pretty funny. But
Yeah. I had lots of those very interesting listener calls as well when I was doing overnights.
yeah, like interesting mix of folks there. But yeah,
Absolutely.
pretty hilarious. You never know what you're gonna get, but keeps you on your toes. So there are good skills there. But yeah, being able to kind of think on your feet and keeping you on your toes. So yeah,
That's
for
right.
Sure.
And remain professional
Remain
even when
professional.
presented with
Yeah,
craziness.
that's right. And not get snarky and remain professional. It's like, okay, don't say what you're thinking. But yeah, for sure. But some great stories, great lessons today. So thank you so much, Diane, Albert, and Corinne, for sharing your stories for our listeners about your prior jobs. And remember that if you'd like to submit your best, worst, or first job story or have a career transition question, You can send it to me at reignitingyou@gmail.com. You can also call 360-436-6496 to leave it over voicemail. That's 360-436-6496. You can use a pseudonym, so you don't have to use your real first name, and a location is great just for reference. But again, that number is 360-436-6496 to leave me a voicemail recording to share your story. And then I'll share that on the air, our next episode like this, the last week of June. So it's time for today's reignition recommendation, your weekly career transition tip. And that's to start asking yourself, what do I get to do today? Instead of what do I have to do today? Sometimes we can put negativity on ourselves without really realizing it, really just based on the verbiage, the words that we use, phrases that we use out of habit. And so when someone says, oh, I have to do this or I have to do that, I have to find a different job, I have to, have this meeting, I have to do this, I have to, then it makes it sound like a burden and can carry a lot of weight and negativity with it. So what I encourage you to do is to change that and really start getting into the habit of thinking and asking yourself, rather than have to do, what do I get to do today? So I get to put myself out there and apply for this role, or I get to meet some new people and have an informational interview. I get to explore what's out there for me in terms of what I can do next. I get to spend this time with my family, with my pets. I get to do this activity that energizes me. So it's really all about just forming a new habit and helping to shift the mindset just a little bit. So what do you get to do today? And a reminder that if you'd like to get in touch, you can visit my website, yournewaspect.com. There you can sign up for my free career tips weekly newsletter. You can also take my free career transition readiness quiz, as well as reach out. Well, thanks, Eric, for your support and participation today. Hope you enjoyed the stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great to get them. So keep them coming in, folks. We appreciate it. And join us next Wednesday at 3 o'clock when my guest will be conflict resolution and diversity expert Bertine Krevcour-West, who will help me answer our career transition question of the month for June. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week on Reigniting You.